Every year, Samsung launches plenty of smartphones, and hence picking a good value for money option is a bit tough. And that's mainly because most of these phones will have some flaws or features watered down, so basically you will have to sacrifice on something. But this year, there is actually to an extent an exception. And that exception is the Galaxy A52. Now it's not a 100% perfect option in the segment, but it's a great Samsung phone in the segment. And this video is the long-term review of the Galaxy A52. Well, this phone is now an almost 3-month-old phone, and right now it's actually a bit hard to get a Galaxy A52 because in online it's out of stock, and at certain locations the situation is the same with offline stores too. So that itself gives you the idea how good a phone the A52 is. And after using it on a long-term basis, well, I really like this device. In fact, I would like to term the A52 as an overall well-done package for the price it's selling. And here, as you can see, in India, there are two variants in which the base variant's pricing is 26,500 Indian rupees, while the top variant is 28,000 Indian rupees. And here for this price, even though there is a controversy with the processor side, well, I can right now, after 3 months of this phone's launch, without any hesitation state that this phone is still performing without any issues. I didn't experience the usual Samsung lag with this A52, and also the heating thing while using the device for an extended period of time is minimal. Now, the processor powering the A52 is the Snapdragon 720G, which is a 8nm processor, and here the GPU is Adreno 618. And the variant I tested as 8GB RAM, and the storage, which is expandable through this hybrid tray, is 128GB. And this processor, even though old, seems to be well optimized, and hence the user experience even as of now is smooth. There are occasional stutters, but it's not a prominent thing, and hence you won't probably notice it at all. Now, this smoothness can be because of the 90Hz refresh rate support of the display, so that factor has to be given credits, and here all of this together does make a regular usage pattern a very enjoyable one. Now, this regular pattern can be shifted to an intense one, like for instance playing games, and even with the moderately graphic heavy title, the phone does keep up. Frame drops are minimal in games like Asphalt 9, and like I mentioned earlier, the phone doesn't get very hot even after playing this game continuously for approximately 20 plus minutes. So that's a great thing, and I'm actually impressed with the way the heat generation is handled. And the RAM management side is also handled in a neat manner because with my variant, 5 to 6 moderately heavy apps does stay open in memory. So overall till now, the performance side is not something to worry about, but still while we compare with the competition phones like the Nord CE, well, the OnePlus Nord CE has the upper hand with the processor and the longevity of it. Because maybe in the long run, like for instance in 2 to 3 years from now, well, the A52 might show its age than the Nord CE based on the performance. And here this A52, well, it will be supported for 4 years based on software support, so the very long term scenario thing is something that I'm very interested to check back. Now about this very long term thing, well, we can't predict what's gonna happen because maybe Samsung will still keep this phone in a usable state, and here the assumptions that I've stated earlier is just based on Samsung's previous track records and also based on the processor benchmark capabilities. But as of now, well, I don't have any issues with the performance of the A52, and I'll rate the performance as good after this 3 months. And actually the remaining stuff of this phone is even better, and an example in that is this design. This is a good looking phone, and here even though no premium materials are used, the in-hand feel and also the way the phone has held up is to an extent great. Now the phone's back and the side frame are all made of plastic, but this plastic, well, it's of neat quality. With the A72, the back plastic did show a depression while pressing, but here with the cheaper A52, well, that issue was not present, and in fact the phone feels more sturdy, and also there was no flexing or gap formation. And even the buttons, they all still work great with proper feedback, and this Gorilla Glass front is also free from deep scratches. Now talking about scratches, well, the glossy side frame did pick up scratches, but it's not a quickly noticeable thing, and also the matte back portion, well, it's almost scratch free, especially this white color. But then this white color, well, it does get dirty. Now in camera you won't be able to see it properly, but this white color is not like it was out of the box. Well, it can be to an extent cleaned with a glass cleaning solution and a microfiber cloth, but still you will notice it. Now this is mainly because of the color, and if in case you're going with the black colored A52, this won't be a thing, but still it's something to keep note of. And here, other than this thing, well, I'm totally satisfied with the way the phone has aged from a design point of view. And also I really love this new format Samsung design theme, where the side frame has a flatter format and also the camera portion is staying integrated with the back portion of the phone. This does give this bar format phone a standout look, and that's an attracting factor for this A52. And another key thing to point out is that Samsung did make this phone a water resistant one. This is an IP67 rated phone, and that's a very unique feature for this budget. And also the phone's weight is just 189 grams, and hence you won't feel any fatigue after using this phone for an extended period of time. And here even the thickness is not much because it's 8.4 mm. So overall, the design and build quality side is something Samsung can surely hype about, and to me, it's a great feature of this phone. In fact, another area of the A52 which will impress everyone is this display. This is an excellent quality Samsung panel, and in this budget, there is nothing to complain about this display based on the quality. This is a 6.5-inch Super AMOLED Full HD panel which has a pixel density of 407 ppi and a peak brightness level of 800 nits. Now here, based on a viewing experience point of view, Samsung as usual has done a great job. The calibration is on point and the bezels are fairly slim, and also the viewing angles are good. Now the outdoor usability scenario is also issue free since the display does get sufficiently bright, and in all these perspective, I loved the display in the A52. And also the 90Hz refresh rate support is something that's always welcome, and it does make the scrolls and swipes very smooth. But Samsung in their regular style did a disappointing thing around this whole punch area. And you can see it, right? Well, it's this shiny silver ring. I feel this is just to create a distinction with the premium phones, and if this was not present, the experience from this display would have been perfect. Because even the audio side is well covered. The A52 gets dual speaker setup and the quality of sound from it is nice, and also the loudness level is fairly decent. It can fill up a moderate size room, so in such a scenario, even if there is a bit of background disturbance, you can enjoy sound from this loudspeaker setup in the A52. And if in case you want to take things to the next level, well, Bluetooth connectivity is present, which is actually a issue-free connection because here the Bluetooth version is 5, and also maybe if you're into wired headphones, well, you can connect that too because a decent quality 3.5mm headphone jack connection port is available in the A52. And also, by the way, the earpiece in the A52 does get decently loud and the microphones does pick up audio in a neat manner, so basically the calling experience is issue-free. Well, these all are great things, but nowadays a more important factor when it comes to smartphones is the camera system. And here I am happy to report that the A52 actually has a pretty solid camera setup, especially in this price category. Now this is not the perfect system, and in fact the Pixel 4a is for sure better than the main camera and the selfie camera in the Galaxy A52, but then the A52 does have the added advantage of an ultra-wide camera, and also compared with the other options in the segment like the Note CE, well, the A52 does a better job than those phones when it comes to the cameras. On the back of the A52, there are 4 cameras, and here the main camera is a 64 megapixel one and the ultra-wide camera is a 12 megapixel one. Now the other two 5 megapixel sensors are not something I use regularly, and hence it's actually safe to skip them because this camera shot is an example for this statement. Now about the main camera, well, it does a great job in a situation where there is proper light available. In such a circumstance, the shots look very much on par with a high-end phone. There is sharpness and also the colors are a bit on the saturated side, and even the dynamic range is proper. And overall the photos in such a scenario looks impressive. And even when the light drops, you can still capture decent shots. Now in such a situation, the gap between a flagship phone and a premium budget phone is evident, but still you can to an extent capture usable photos with night mode turned on. Now I do always like a ultra-wide camera option because it's always needed for a landscape shot, and yet this one does that job in a neat manner if the situation is favorable. And actually to an extent the videos captured with the main camera are good too. I did record a 1080p video at 60 fps, and here as you can see the stabilization is not bad even when there was a lot of movement, and also there wasn't any focusing issue even though the exposure shifting happened at times. Still, I feel this phone's video recording capability is a strong point in this budget. And now shifting our focus to the front camera, well, it's a 32 megapixel camera, and this one it shows its full potential in outdoor conditions because in such a scenario the selfies are very sharp and also a bit contrasty, and it did not process my skin in an extreme manner. But then with indoor shots, even if an artificial light source is available, well, even then the selfies become soft, and hence I didn't like it that much. But about the videos captured with the front camera, well, it's fine. Stabilization is an issue, but still if the movement is controlled, the rest of the stuff like colors and sharpness and focusing, well, they all are good, and hence the overall outcome is not bad. So that's the whole camera situation of the A52, and here, like I said before, it's staying strong against the competitors. And also an area where the A52 is doing a really good job is with the battery backup. The battery used in the A52 is a 4500 mAh battery, and here with the 90Hz refresh rate in the on state and also keeping the brightness level always in the 50% or above range and following a moderately heavy usage pattern, well, in such a situation the screen on time I was getting was in the 6-hour range. And I'll rate that screen on time as great because of the battery size, and I feel the reason we are getting such good battery backup is because of the processor and also the optimization done by Samsung. But then while checking the charging side, the phone does support fast charging, but in box the charger available is a 15-watt charger, and if you charge with that, well, the time it takes to fully charge the battery from 0 to 100% is approximately 2 hours. And here there is no wireless charging support if you are into that. And lastly, the Wi-Fi version of the A52 is dual band Wi-Fi, and this phone does have NFC and all the other sensors. Now about the sensor part, well, the unlocking method of the A52 is fingerprint unlock, and here the scanner is an in-display scanner, and this one is actually miles better than the one that was used in last year's Galaxy A51. This is adequately fast and also the accuracy level is almost in the 90% range. Well, I guess that's everything about the Galaxy A52 after 3 months of use. And here, as I stated in the beginning, I would term this phone a best all-round value for money Samsung phone. And in this budget, it's a great option if you're a Samsung fan, and actually even a good, very balanced option if you're not specific about brands. And here a key thing to keep in mind is that usually Samsung phones pricing drops after a while, and with the A52 if that happens, well then for sure the A52 will be a segment king. It's a phone that you have to use to understand the overall balance, and for me, I personally liked it a lot. That's all for this video guys, hope you liked it. If so, a like is much appreciated, and please don't forget to subscribe to the channel because it helps us a lot, and also you won't miss our future contents. See you again in the next one. Till then, bye.